Alderman Boyd. Alderwoman Davis. Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe it.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Muhammad.
Here.
Alderman Oldenburg. Alderwoman Martin.
Present.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Present.
Alderwoman Middlebrook. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Here.
Chairman Valmer.
Present.
President Reed.
Here.
9 present, you have quorum.
Thank you, Sharita. And thank you and welcome to everyone who has joined us this evening. The purpose of this evening is community input. So we are going to, I believe we have a total of 16 signed up. One has sent a note that she cannot make it. So we have 15 speakers this evening. What we'll be doing is giving each, excuse me? All right, pardon me. We'll be giving each speakers 3 minutes. I will start a clock as soon as you start speaking, and then we will try and let you know when there's only about 10 seconds left or so, or 25 seconds, so you can wrap up. Each speaker will be sworn in. We'll be asking you to give your name and which 100 block of the city that you reside. And if you are representing yourself or if you're representing an organization. So these are the parts of the format that the speakers will have to be doing. So, and members of the committee, we're going to be taking the speakers in order as they are on the list, and they're 3 minutes each. We're going to take them in order. What I would do, if you have comments or things you hear during their testimony, please make notes, and then we will go through the committee at the end of all the public input in the interest of time, and also to keep things, so yeah, it gives you time to really, maybe if you have an answer for someone, that gives you time to put it together. So with that, we will move forward. There are no minutes to approve at this particular hearing. So we will move forward with board bill number 101, public input. Michael McKay, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm here.
Okay, Michael, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
I am. I'm on the 1400 block of Pine.
All right, thank you, sir. Are you representing yourself or some other organization?
I'm representing myself.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to us is true?
I do.
All right, with that, let me get my clock out and then we will proceed and start whenever you're ready, sir.
So I'm still kind of lukewarm on the third version of the map, still making up my mind. Right now, I'm leaning in favor of it. One thing I really like about the map is it gives a little more weight to areas with heavy Black population. I know Trump's census undercounted Black voters quite heavily. I've seen estimates of 3 to 7%. And so I think everyone deserves an equal right to vote. And so I like that this map has smaller census population in heavily Black wards. And yet is still within the bounds of what the courts will accept with no more than 10% variance. And I guess my concern with if the board didn't pass something is that it would go to judges. And in that case, I don't think that there would be such consideration for Black voters. My concerns with the map more have to do with the process in general. I do have concerns that the committee making the decisions, it feels like some progressive voices in the board are a little underrepresented. And so that's concerning to me. And the fact that there are so many wards that are drawn with current holders right on the line makes me think that there might be some gamesmanship going on there. So I need to consider that a little bit more. But I do like the way this map does help enfranchise Black voters. And yeah, my only other minor comment was I was wondering if you could post a shape file for the ward drafts like you have for the current ward boundaries. And that's all I had to say. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Michael. And you actually did it in 2 minutes. For those folks who sometimes think 3 minutes isn't a lot of time. That's a lot of information, Michael. We thank you very much. And we'll get to your at the end of this thing. We'll address all these little issues for you. But thank you, sir, very much. All right.
You're welcome.
And we're trying to make the best of everyone's time. Speaker number 2 is Jake Villarreal. Is that correct, Jake? Are you with us? I don't hear an answer. We'll put a hold on Mr. Villarreal, and then we will come back if he does show up. If you do, and at this point, we have Carissa Gilman Hernandez. Is it Carissa? Are you with us? Anyone see her? Maybe she's muted. I'm looking on my screen, flipping around, but I don't. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm on my phone. I apologize. Let me get my video on. There we go.
Yes. Thank you very much, Carissa. All right.
Wonderful. One moment.
I don't know if you're on when we're reading the rules for speakers, but we'll be giving you 3 minutes. But before we do that, we're going to, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay, and state the 100 block where you reside.
4500 of Philozin.
Philozin, okay. And then, are you representing yourself or an organization?
Myself.
All right, thank you. And with that, I'm going to ask you, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Let me get my clock set, and we are reset. So whenever you feel like starting, please go ahead, Chris.
Okay, great. Thank you for some time to speak tonight. After looking closely at this newest rendition of the map, I do have some thoughts to its makeup. First of all, I am confused by the demographics within the map. In the first meeting, it was stated that there would be 7 white wards and 7 black wards. Since then, the language has changed to be 7 white wards and 7 minority wards. But the demographic numbers to me don't really look like 7 white and 7 black, or 7 white and 7 minority. It looks like 7 white and 7 black wards. I'd like to know what your goals are for non-Black minority representation and the population in the maps. Further, within the interactive map, there does not seem to be any consideration of Hispanic or Latinx population. As someone who's Mexican American, I'd like to lift up that we have a larger population than many of the minority races that were included. I'm not asking you to remove anybody, but please add us to the interactive map make it clear that all minority populations will be under consideration. Also, I would appreciate if you added percentages to the map. Looking at just numbers is a little confusing, and I think percentages would be more approachable. Further, I'd also like to talk about Ward I, which I live in. I thank you all for keeping Tower Grove South intact. And I agree that Shaw makes sense as far as demographics and issues facing our neighborhoods to put us together. I don't agree that Tower Grove East needs to be cut and to put into I. It seems that with H being underpopulated and I being overpopulated, that would be an easy thing to move over. And as far as I can tell, it would not disrupt the demographics too much. I'm not a math person, so if somebody disagrees with me, please listen to them, but also Tower Grove East up. I'd also like to know when we'll be able to ask specific questions of you all and get answers. I know you all keep saying you're taking testimony, but there's been no space for us to ask specific questions and get specific answers as to the process of the map and the way it and why it looks the way it does. Currently, I don't actually know who wrote this map. I assume it's somebody in President Reed's office, but there's been no clear indication as to who physically made this map and what their instructions were. I'd also like to say that it's been disheartening that every one of these speaking,
We have 10 seconds, man.
every time we have one of these, the aldermen decide to close it out by saying that the speakers are spreading lies, misinformation, and then letting us know that our voices don't actually matter because you all are the ones who vote. You all work
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
us.
It's 3:00. You're over your time, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've got a lot to, we have all your notes, and actually, I believe at the end, you'll have some answers to, we've already, some of the things you're speaking of, we've been addressing over the time. And we will have it. So we have that. With that, we will reset. And I believe the third speaker, our fourth speaker of the evening is April Yoakley. Is that correct? April, are you with us? April? Doing.
Yes.
Okay, there we are. Get yourself situated. If we can, we need to see your face, ma'am.
Just a second.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, April, we're going to ask you a few questions first, and then we will give you 3 minutes. We'll start a clock whenever you are ready. So first of all, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
I am.
And could we have the 100 block where you reside?
4600 of Casu.
Okay, thank you very much. Are you representing yourself or an organization?
Myself.
All right. With that, do you swear the testimony you are about to give is true?
Yes.
All right. With that, you please let me know when, let's see, let me get started here. I'm not the most able person here when it comes to these things. Now it's not giving me the screen I want. All right, here we go. April, please start whenever you're ready, and I'll start the clock here. Thank you.
All right. I just want to talk about Ward 21. I'm not understanding why out of all of the areas, there are taking away 3 blocks from Ward 21 to move it to Ward 1. You know, Muhammad have worked a countless amount of hours into helping us build up our blocks, build up communities, and those 3 wards, those 3 blocks, I should say, actually have been working really, really well, hand in hand, cleaning the streets and working together to try to get things going in a positive direction. And to remove us at this time from him to move us to another ward, I think it would be really damaging right now. And at this point, we don't need anything that's going to cause any damage to any area in St. Louis right now. You know, he's been really helpful to us. He's put in, like I said, I mean, countless amount of hours. He have helped a lot. You know, we are at a position to where, and we have just really got there to where we could call on him and he's there for us for anything, you know. And like I said, to move us, those 3 blocks right now is going to be really damaging, you know. And as a homeowner, I'm just not really, it don't stand well with me at this point. You know, if you guys ride past or ride in those areas in which the blocks that you're trying to remove, they're really decent. You know, streets are kept clean. And like I said, at this point, as a homeowner, to remove us and to put us in another ward just wouldn't be good.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
can she name the 3 blocks? Could you? I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
was going to answer that also, Mr. President.
Okay.
If you could just give you still have, you're way under time. So what 3 blocks are they? 4,500?
The 4600 block of Casu, Lee, and Penrose.
Kasson, Lee, and Penrose.
Yes, we got
46 and 47.
46 and 47. Okay, we
Yes.
have the notes down. As we go through the thing, we'll see what can be. And also, very quickly, we're not going to be taking anybody away because Mr. Muhammad will be your alderman until April 2023, depending on the election. So this is all pending the next election. For maybe that's not aware. This map will not go into effect until after the next election cycle.
Okay. Well, I'm
Okay.
still planning on being there at that time. So
I hope you are. Okay, you made it way 100 times. So thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right, April. Thank you for all your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will now go to speaker on number 5 on the list, Mark, pardon my, Lehrer or Laura, Loehrer. Mark, are you with us?
Hi. Yep, that's me.
All right, Mark, we're going to ask you a few questions and then you'll have 3 minutes, which I'll start a timer whenever you tell me you're ready. So first of all, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yep,
And which 100 block do you reside on?
1500 North 17th Street.
All right. And with that, are you representing yourself or an organization?
Myself.
All right, thank you, sir. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yep.
All right, with that, let me get my clock out and as soon as it shows up here, as soon as you begin, when you're ready, whenever you're ready, at your leisure, sir.
Okie dokie. So I'm just here to kind of make a brief statement in support of the most recent draft, or a continuation of the most recent draft, which drew Ward A more closely bound to the Project Connect outline of Hyde Park, Old North, St. Louis Place, Jeff Vanderloo, and DeSoto Carr. We have talked about how meaningless neighborhoods are, both on social media and in these meetings, but I think that's a pretty malicious thing to say when you speak of this area of the near north side especially. These are areas of the city that have seen the single worst divestment, depopulation, and more recently displacement trends in St. Louis. These are the neighborhoods that the board has allowed a slumlord from Chesterfield to ravage. And I don't expect that the new ward map will fix everything, but I do wish that the map drawers keep this Ward A together as it is in this most recent draft. We've been promised that the NGA is going to be transformational, that it's going to, redo the whole area. And, while we might all be questionable about that, I think it's fair to sort of wait and see. And to do that, we need to have a single alderman who is apprised of the situation, well connected to the NGA, well connected to the resident groups like St. Louis Place Association, and not, working Baden as the previous draft had and us. We need to have somebody who's focused on us and, the near north side. And so that's what I kind of wanted to say. Just, please don't cut us up again. These neighborhoods have come together through the Project Connect plan, worked very hard so that their businesses, their schools, that their residents can sort of maybe benefit from the NGA, maybe not be displaced again. And we're all counting on you guys.
All right. Okay, you have time to spare. I appreciate Mark. Thank you very much. We also like Ward A the way it looks right now. So that's thank you very much for the comment, sir. Number 6 on our list will be Michael Browning. Michael, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Kevin, there you are. Thank you, sir. We're going to ask you a few questions, as you probably heard. Okay, so are you a resident of the city of St. Louis, sir?
Yes.
Okay, please state the 100 block that you live on.
4400 Oakland.
All right. And are you representing yourself or an organization, sir?
Myself.
All right. With that, do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be true?
Yes.
All right. Let me get my clock set, and whenever you're ready, please proceed, sir.
All right. Thank you for the chance to speak tonight. I want to start out by saying that I do believe that the new ward maps should be drawn by an independent commission, presenting multiple maps for review based on different methodology. But that being said, I recognize that the committee is following the process currently outlined in the city charter, and I want to provide feedback on the latest proposed map. I like this map much better than the previous 2 versions. I love seeing a number of wards bridge the neighborhoods on either side of the Delmar instead of using it as a boundary. It's great to see my neighborhood, Forest Park Southeast, linked with some of its surrounding area. I want to again bring up that Forest Park Southeast Neighborhood Association changed our bylaws last year to include Kings Oak in our boundaries. That was at the request of the residents there, who said that they wanted to be part of a neighborhood association, but weren't large enough to have one of their own. They have a small enough population that I think it wouldn't be hard to include them in Ward F, and I think they would be better represented that way. The other thing I would like to see is the combination of downtown and downtown west into the same ward. It would be a huge benefit to have a single alderperson and a neighborhood stabilization officer whose full attention is dedicated to the concerns of the greater downtown area. I echo the call by Forward Through Ferguson and more than 20 other St. Louis organizations asking this committee to hold at least one in-person meeting for each new version of the map. I think it takes a very politically engaged person to follow all of this, and the committee should be taking extra time to ensure that they reach those on the other side of the digital divide. Those people who don't spend their lives online, don't spend their Saturday mornings or Monday nights watching legislative committee meetings on YouTube or Zoom. I have other concerns about transparency and a politicized process, but I can see you making progress on that. I want to acknowledge that. Keep making progress, but please improve the process to include all of our citizens. Thank you again for the chance to speak tonight, and have a wonderful night.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Under time. Very good. Appreciate it. Very, very good. Thank you, sir. And we have some, again, we're taking notes, and we'll be addressing all these points at the end of the meeting in one time, instead of going through the committee constantly each time. So we're just trying to get everybody spoken. We'll get to all our answers here. With that, speaker number 7 will be Amber Cole. Amber, are you with us? Amber? I don't see her anywhere. Do we? Oh, I saw.
She's here.
There, I see her. Amber, are you with us? You're muted and I can't see your face. Okay. You just need to...
Wait a minute, let me pull over.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Get your camera going and we'll get going.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
I'm stopped. I'm ready.
Okay, now we can see you. All right, Amber, we have a few questions to ask you first, and then we'll allow you 3 minutes to give your testimony. Let me get everything up here. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes.
And please state the 100th block of where you reside.
2000 block of East Fair.
East Fair, all right. And are you representing yourself or an organization?
Myself.
All right, thank you. And do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
All right. With that, you may start whenever you feel like it.
Okay, first of all, thank you for giving us the opportunity. However, I don't really understand why we have to swear for testimony, because it's not a testimony, it's like just giving the community avenue to speak. It's not a testimony. That's first of all. For the map, I was really excited when I seen the last one, but when I consulted several older people that was more familiar, then I had concerns. I have concerns with maybe being with the downtown. I was okay with Midtown. However, that little concern for is Team 4 and all that. But because I haven't had enough time to really look through all the maps, I wouldn't be able to give you a good analogy. The other thing I was thinking about was why in the map you couldn't have the resources in the community, such as the schools, what schools are being affected, or what schools are going to be in that area, what police departments is going to be servicing that particular area, and is those police departments is going to be overworked like they are now. As far as the 21st Ward, I was listening to the young lady that spoke earlier. I'm kind of not in favor of the analogy she spoke of what's going on in the 21st Ward, because it seemed like self-gratification is going on. The other thing, I was listening more, you know, it was a song back in the day. It says, Mama days, it's going to be days like this, Mama said. Well, I really believe that this is the way that is being said at the time. The other thing, I listened to the president, and he refers to his mama like, I'm going to refer to my mom. My mom says that you got to have some integrity and you got to have some character wherever you go. And so I will hope that those that are doing these maps think about the integrity that they are imposing on the community. The last thing, I have one more thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember. Maybe if I remember, I'll put it in the chat or put it on, enter it later.
Okay, you have 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right. We thank you very much. And from a look, it's Pastor Cole apparently. So thank you, Pastor Cole.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. With that, we will move to speaker number 8, Yolanda Owens. Yolanda, are you with us? I'm looking for you on I see. She's
Hi.
with us.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name's Yolanda Owens. I am
Have you got your
speaking-
camera going?
I do. I can see you. Can you see me?
Not there, not yet. I'm trying to look around where you're at because they've been moving you to the front page for me. There you are now, Yolanda. Okay, you're right below Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Now I can see you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name's Yolanda Owens. I am a resident.
Okay, okay. Yeah, let me ask you the questions for the record if you can. Thank you, Yolanda. All right. You probably already know Ollie. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
I am, sir.
All right, and please state the 100 block where you reside.
4600 block of Lee Avenue.
All right, thank you. And are you representing yourself or an organization?
I'm representing myself and about 15 neighbors.
Okay, and with that, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
I do.
All right, with that, let me reset my clock and we will get you off and running. It sounds like you're ready to go.
Sort of. It's a little disheartening, but I appreciate the time here today. I
All right,
wanted
thank
to
you.
address one of the comments that Amber said really quickly. When April spoke, it wasn't about self-preservation. The Penrose district, we're the only 3 blocks that were removed from the Penrose district. And like she said, Mr. Muhammad has made great strides with us. We're backing him in a lot of the initiatives, and our neighbors are, you know, very pleased with a lot of things that we have. We've built a camaraderie with each other as far as assisting each other with police matters, our elderly, and all those type of things. So we don't want that momentum to stop. We don't want to be separated, but the area that they wanted to move us to, we're here to assist them as well in, you know, whatever effort to make our city great. Just the 4600 block and 4500 block of Lee, Kasu, and Penrose, like I said, we're family. We just had a longtime resident that just passed last night, who his wife is, you know, I'm speaking for her as well. She was very upset about this, and they've been over here for 50 something years. I am a longtime resident. I graduated from Scullin School, Hickey Middle School, Stevens, and William Beaumont High School. So this is where I reside. I moved to Washington, D.C. after I went out of the military, and I made it my business after I went out the military, and I'm a federal employee right now. I made sure that I came back home to assist with the effort of rebuilding our neighborhood, which is totally different from where it was. I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you to keep us with the 21st Ward, like I said, because we're a family and we want to stay together, but it's not separatism. It's what we know. We've been building since Mr. Muhammad has been here. Speed dial on my phone. He answers my phone. He answers my text messages. And I know there's an election process, and he may not be with us forever, but while he's here now and we're supporting him, and we want our ward to stay intact. And I'm also here to say anything that I can do, and our residents, we're ready to assist in any effort that you need while you're doing this mapping. I don't have a lot of information on it, and I'm going to research it a little bit more. But one question I'm asking of you is if you can point me to the right direction, because many of the citizens in this ward on Penrose, Lee, and Kasu, they're asking, how do we obtain this information so we can impart ourselves. And I'm also asking if we can send you our petition that we have signed of most of the residents. So we've been working hard, you know, to stay intact. And it was just a little bit, you know, like I said, disheartening. My mother's 75 years old and she bought this her first house in the 4600 block of Lee, and 21st Ward is what she knows. And I
10
am.
seconds, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'll make sure a lot of those questions I know Mr. Muhammad will take care of personally, it sounds like, for you right away. So, but we will address those at the end of the session. And with that, we'll go to speaker number 9, Deborah Lovelace. Deborah, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and we can see you. Thank you very much. We're going to, as you've probably heard, ask you a few questions and then we'll get started. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes,
And please state the 100 block where you reside.
5100 block of Waterman.
All right, thank you. And are you representing yourself or an organization?
I'm representing myself.
And do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
All right. With that, I will set the clock and you'll have 3 minutes. Whenever you feel like starting, please start.
All right. Good evening to everyone. I just want to make some general comments, and it sounds like you all already have this as your goal. But it's my understanding that the city's population is about 46% white and 46% Black and about 8% other ethnic groups. And so I would like to see the Board of Aldermen represent or reflect this demographic. I'd like to see the boundaries drawn in such a way that we have an equal representation of Black and white aldermen. So ideally, I'd like to see boundaries drawn so that the board can have at least 7 aldermen of color and possibly 8. And I think the most recent map comes closer to that goal than some of the previous versions. And I must say that the last version I saw would put several of the incumbent Black aldermen in one ward. And so they might possibly have to run against each other. And of course, only one of them would survive. I mean, if they chose to run. So I don't know if that would happen according to the 3rd version of the map, but I would like to see that avoided if at all possible. I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. It would be nice if you could make it a little easier for people to participate. But thank you and good evening.
All right. Deborah, thank you very much. A minute to spare. All right. I appreciate that. We have your notes. I believe we can answer a lot of those questions right away afterwards. With that, we'll go to speaker number 10, Brian Kruger. Brian, are you with us?
Muted. There we go. Yes, sir.
There we are. Okay. Brian, you know the routine, so we'll go through the questions. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis, sir?
A proud resident.
Thank you. Please state the 100 block where you reside.
I live in the 2600 block of 21st Street in beautiful St. Louis Place neighborhood in the fabulous 5th Ward.
Thank you. And are you representing yourself or an organization, sir?
Myself tonight.
Okay. And with that, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
I do.
All right. With that, I will set the clock and we will proceed whenever you feel like it. We will go ahead.
Well, I won't need 3 minutes. I just wanted to acknowledge and say that I am in favor of map version number 3. The newest version, I think, is vastly improved over versions 1 and 2. From my selfish perspective, I couldn't see Ward A stretching from the arch to the Chain of Rocks Bridge. But more importantly, the new version of map 3 includes a lot of areas that I think would be important to have under one elected official. And that would include the NGA with a lot of the adjoining neighborhoods. I see Old North, St. Louis Place, Carr Square, Hyde Park, near North, River, Columbus Square, a good portion of the JVL, all within one sphere inside of the new Ward A. The T-Rex building would be included inside of Ward A, and I think that that type of technological thinking and that type of business is healthy. Dittos with the North Tucker commercial area for the Jack Dorsey, Jim McKelvey development square and whatnot. And equally as important to have the Pruitt-Igoe development all under one elected official. I also agree or have the sense that map 3 with consolidating downtown into 2 wards as, you know, the old version of 4 is much improved. That's my 2 cents on it. I appreciate the time tonight, but I'm in favor of map version number 3.
Thank you very much, sir. With that, we will move on to speaker number 11, Julia Allen. Julia, are you with us? Do we ever? Julia? And I don't, does anybody see her?
I see her. It looks like she was an attendee. I think someone just moved her over. Yep.
Okay. All right, Julia, are you there? No?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. And we can see you
Yeah.
too. Thank you. All right, Julia, we're going to ask you a few questions before we give you your 3 minutes. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please state the 100 block where you reside.
3900 block of North Market.
All right. And are you representing yourself or an organization this evening?
I am representing myself.
Okay. And do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
Okay. With that, you may proceed whenever you feel comfortable.
Okay. The reason I want to testify tonight is because I have a different perspective on what you all are doing. One of the things that I think is very important is that you all look at some of the reports that were done about the city of St. Louis, which includes the Ferguson, forward through Ferguson, and the 2018 equity indicators for the city of St. Louis. Me personally, I don't think you have looked at any of those reports to take into consideration what those reports were saying regarding redistricting. If you look at the city of St. Louis, the overall score for the city of St. Louis is 45.57. And that's according to the equity indicators for the city of St. Louis. So what does this mean? It means that the city is doing a poor job of addressing the issues that plague many neighborhoods in North St. Louis. And the maps drawn thus far are not really serving some of the citizens of North St. Louis very well. From my perspective, you are creating wards that will have increases in property, in poverty, vacant property, and continued health disparities, lack of quality education, and higher levels of crime. And I believe no matter who the citizens elect as alderperson in these wards or these districts, they are set up to fail. I look at this from a census tract perspective, and from what I could see, the census tracts 1270, 1096, 1076, 1075, 1269, 1112, 1113, and 1114. If you look at those census tracts instead of wards, which you have proposed to combine, you will see that you have created districts that will continue to be disinvested in with no new or existing resources, nor social and economic development. You have made no effort to address any of these issues that have been outlined in Forward Through Ferguson and the 2018 Equity Indicators report for the city of St. Louis. One of those indicators was the opportunity to thrive. which included financial empowerment, neighborhoods, and health and safety. For some of the neighborhoods in Black and North St. Louis, these maps do not address any of the indicators in both of these reports. The community deserves better than this. I would have to agree with one of the gentlemen earlier that talked about we need a non-biased outside organization to take on the task of redistricting. The only reason, and I thank you for letting me have this time, but I think that you really need to read the reports out there so you can address the real issues.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate all the input we can get on this. Thank you. With that, we go to speaker number 12, Barbara Scales. Barbara, are you with us?
Yes.
Oh, there we are. Okay, Barbara, we're going to ask you a few questions and then give you your 3 minutes. And we will first, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes.
Please state the 100 block of where you reside.
4700 Lee Avenue.
Okay, and with that, are you representing yourself or an organization?
An organization and myself.
And the name of the organization?
51st Ward United Block Captains Coalition.
Okay.
And I'm also the block captain of the 4700 block of Lee.
Okay.
I consider myself a community leader.
Okay. Well,
I'm a homeowner.
We have to ask you one more question before we
Okay.
proceed. Okay, that's okay. Because we have to, on records, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is all true?
Yes.
All right. With that, let me get my clock set. I will give you whenever you feel like it, please start when you're comfortable.
Okay. I'm a lifelong resident. I was born and raised in Penrose neighborhood. My parents bought this house back in the 50s. I'm the youngest of 9. I'm real active in the community. The 21st Ward, Penrose neighborhood is all I know. Most of my brothers and sisters, we all went to Northwest, we went to Scullin, we went to Beaumont. We were right on the edge. We had a choice to go to which high school we wanted to. I graduated from Northwest though. And so did my brother, and another brother graduated from Beaumont. But not to mention, I'm just a little heartbroken. On the last redistrict, Penrose neighborhood was divided. Okay, so we've been dealing with that and living with it, even though I haven't been happy with it. Okay, but now you want to divide it again, cut it up and take me out of the 21st Ward. And it's already on my t-shirts when I'm doing my community service and my block captain stuff. I don't want to change my t-shirt. I mean, for real. Okay, and neither do my residents. And my heart and soul, and I'm very passionate about Penrose. It means everything to me. And I mean, I am just so upset. I would appreciate it with all due respect that you do not cut us up anymore. At least keep what's already in the 21st Ward there. But I mean, it would really make me happy if you would pull Penrose completely back together in the 21st Ward. But if you just can't do it, at least keep what's already in the 21st Ward there. And the fact that, my block is not in there. I mean, I was about to cry. Seriously, I didn't know who I was gonna call. But my residents are threatening to move. Some are already threatening to sell. Even in the 4600 block, I heard from several residents, but they know me from, doing community service. I also take care of trash. I volunteer for clean sweep. Everyone knows me. I've recruited 8 block units to help bring the community together. And I'm willing to do whatever I gotta do to make St. Louis City, North City, and St. Louis City better. Just tell me what I gotta do and I'm there, I will do it. And I also work for the city of St. Louis. I'm a taxpayer and a homeowner. So I'm asking you to at least keep the 21st ward, what already is there, together. I don't know how you guys are gonna do it, but I would appreciate it if you would. We can't handle another cut.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Scales. With that, we will move on to speaker number 13.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
No,
You guys
thank you.
have a good evening.
You also. And speaker number 13, Wally Seward. Wally, are you with us?
I am.
All right, we can see you now, sir. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis, sir?
I am.
Okay, please state the 100 block where you reside.
2800 Louisiana.
All right, and are you representing yourself or an organization this evening, sir?
I am representing only myself, no organizations, no coalitions.
All right, thank you. And do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
I do.
All right, with that, I will set the 3-minute clock, and when it's ready, and it is, you may start whenever you're comfortable.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to give input. You've actually heard from me once before already. If you're wondering if my face looks familiar, I wanted to, instead of pointing out what I think could have been better about this process, I want to give some specific suggestions about what the process could have looked like, just to give a sense of what this process could be like. We could have easily used ARPA funds this summer to start doing workshops and education and asking questions out in the community about redistricting. For instance, it would have been really easy to start training folks on the Dave's Redistricting app and have the community members start drawing some maps of their neighborhoods that make sense to them, so that those could then be taken into account when you started drawing maps. I know we didn't have the data at that point yet, but at that point is an easy point to step in and start using the community as a resource in that way. There's some really important questions that could have been asked at that point. For instance, how do we divide up that downtown corridor the best? Because we know we're going to have to divide it up no matter what the numbers look like. That would have been a great question to ask of folks downtown over the summer. There's also another question I think is really important that's not getting addressed. What's the goal of redistricting? This is your map, and I'm going to stop my virtual background so that it doesn't. There we go. This is your map. If you look at what I've colored in, the yellow area are your 7 majority black wards, and the non-yellow area are the majority white wards. You have divided up the city perfectly. Each of those represented 100,000 of one and about 30,000 of the other. That's great. Here's my question. Should redistricting only focus on having every district be a racially specific representation, or should redistricting allow a few districts to actually cross over and be competitive and join us together in ways we haven't been joined in the past? Now, you can't do that with the North City or the far South City districts. I get that. But districts F, I, H, L, G, are all really, really ripe for drawing some districts that are actually roughly reflect the broad population of the city. I don't know if we should do that, but we haven't even been asked that question. Finally, I want to make a couple of quick points. It's been said a lot by members of the committee, and I've met with several of them, that this process is a lot better than years past. I agree. I've talked to folks who did the redistricting in 2000 and 2010. It was a back room. Thank you. It was a back room with a grease pencil. But compared to that, we're better. But compared to what this process could be like in the National Geospatial Center of the country, we are still riding in buggies in the age of Tesla. I just want to ask that you attempt to make this a little better. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything. With that, we'll move to speaker number 14, Henry Harris. Henry, are you with us? Mr. Harris? And does anyone see Mr. Harris that I don't?
I don't see him.
Okay, well, hold on to him in case he shows up later. With that, we'll move to number 15 on the list. Dean Mosley. Dean, are you with us?
Yes, it's actually pronounced Dion.
I apologize for that. Dion Mosley. Thank you, sir. And with that, Dion, do you are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and please state the 100 block where you reside.
35.
Hope you're frozen. Dion, you're frozen at the moment. Can we? I don't know if you can hear us, but you're frozen solid there. We'll give a few more seconds and maybe he can work it out. And if not, we'll go to the next and take him as soon as he comes available. Dion, can you hear me? I guess you can't. I don't know. You're frozen there, sir. So we will hold on to you. And when you get a connection, please feel free to jump back on and we'll move to the next speaker on the list. With that, listed as number 16, apparently is a business called All Seasons Towing. Is there someone representing All Seasons Towing here? All right, does anyone see an All Seasons Towing? Since we don't know their name, anyone here a representative of All Seasons Towing? No one's answering. I'll put a hold next to that also. The next speaker on the list would have been Janet. Do we have someone here?
He's back. Mr. Mosley's back.
Dion, are you there? I don't see him on my screen.
Yes, I am. I have
Okay, all right, Dion, thank you. You were frozen there.
Yeah.
You had a smile on your face when you're frozen. That was a good picture.
Thanks.
All right, with that, you see you've answered. You are a resident. You live, I believe it's 3500 block of California. Is that correct? You said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And are you representing yourself or an organization?
Myself.
Okay. With that, do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be true?
Yes, I do.
All right. When you let me get my clock started, whenever you feel comfortable, please begin.
I don't have much to say. What my problems mainly lie in the people not being able to have an input on the redistricting map. I'm originally from West Memphis, Arkansas. And if you ask the average West Memphian anything about their local government, they will just have a bunch of hearsay or nothing to say at all. But the people of St. Louis very much want to be a part of their local government, especially when it comes to something like redistricting. So many people have opinions on it, and yet it seems as though the people in power are not inclined to give these people a voice or hear what they have to say. And that actually makes me, not to sound conspiratorial, but that's where I lean towards. I'm wondering if you don't want people to have an input on what's going on in their city. It may be for your own benefit, and you don't want them to know that you're doing something that will cause some harm in the future. So whether it's like you're leaving the police stations with the highest rates of violence towards innocent people in those predominantly Black districts, or whatever the case may be, it makes me uneasy that you're not being open with why the districts are being drawn the way they are, and why any of this is what is going on. Like, people should know what's going on. People want to know. Several people have gotten on here and have said that they're representing neighborhoods and other people. Like these people want to know. They may not have the access or time to sit in on these meetings to constantly say, yes, I want to know what's going on, but it's very obvious in what's going on with the in the city with all of these or it's coming up with these with demands from the board of aldermen that people are asking why is this happening, and how they can have a voice and have in this change. So I guess as I was saying, I don't that's my main concern, is that this seems a little shady. Not to, like I said, be conspiratorial, but if you're not letting us know what's going on and why, it seems as though it could be not for us, but for your own benefit. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dion. I've just been informed by the clerk that Jake Villarreal, who is speaker number 2, is now with us. If Jake, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, can we move him to the front screen? Can I also, or is your camera on, sir?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, where STL TV, where's he at here? I'm trying to find him on my,
Pink headphones, yellow shirt.
okay.
Right.
All right, Jack, I see you now. I had to move. I'm on my iPad, so I had to move 3 screens over.
Mhm.
All right, thank you for showing up. And we are going to allow you 3 minutes. Before we do that, we have to give you the questionnaire. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis, sir?
Yes,
Okay, and what 100 block do you reside in?
3600 block of Cherokee of Tennessee Avenue.
3600 Tennessee. All right. And are you representing yourself or an organization, sir?
Myself.
Okay, and do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
All right. With that, we'll start the clock whenever you begin. Feel comfortable whenever you feel.
Great, thanks. I just want to say that this bill has really been rushed out, and even though this is the 3rd draft of the map, it's been put together without a lot of community input, really without any community input unless you count testifying at these meetings, which is not something that's advertised very widely. Community organizations haven't been able to talk about whether they feel represented by the new ward boundaries. The new ward boundaries seem drawn in such a way that it provides advantages to people who are current alders who endorsed Lewis Reed in the mayoral primary in 2021, and to disadvantage people who endorsed either Tashara Jones or Kara Spencer in the mayoral primary. It also doesn't look good that the chair of the committee putting together the map, which is you, Joe Vollmer, in every iteration of the ward map has been unopposed if we assume that all of the alders will want to run again for the seats that they currently hold. So besides the process not being transparent and community input not being taken into account, the whole thing feels like the President Reed and the committee are trying to rush this thing out before Thanksgiving so that they can go and have turkey dinner with their families and not worry about this anymore. It's something that really should have more time dedicated to it. And it looks like a corrupt process in which the person in charge of the redistricting is rewarding his political allies and punishing his political enemies. It is the only way that the map really makes sense when you look at the Post Dispatch's version of the map that overlays where the current alders' home addresses are registered with the proposed ward boundaries. You can see that it's the boundaries are drawn to encircle certain alders. And without that overlay, the map doesn't make a lot of sense. It just looks like a bunch of random jigsaw puzzle pieces. So I want to say that the process should be more equitable and should take into account the views of the community and organizations like the Dutchtown South Community Corporation and Action St. Louis and other such groups that have for years gone out into the community and talked to people about what they would like to see from their local government. And also that the process has been so overtly corrupt on the part of President Reed that it makes the whole process really reek of bias and partisanship.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, we will go to, has anyone from All Seasons Towing showed up? That was the other absentee so far. All Seasons Towing, is there any representative from them? Okay, with that, we will move on to what is technically speaker 17 on the list, which is Steve Nystrom, I believe. Steve, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can, and we can see you, sir.
Oh, that's
So let's go
hearing's
through
better than seeing.
let's go through our questionnaire. There's no prize for answering these questions, but we'll still go through. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis, sir?
I am.
Okay, and please state the 100 block where you reside.
I live in the 4500 block of Lindell Boulevard.
All right. And are you representing yourself or an
I am
organization?
representing myself.
Okay, and do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
I do.
Okay, let me get my handy dandy stopwatch going and we will start at your leisure, sir.
Okay, I'm here to support the process. I'm strongly supportive of the process the committee has followed to come up with a fair and practical map for the 14 wards. I'm delighted to see, I think, and hope that we're past the question whether or not we have 14 wards, because we desperately need to shrink. After a somewhat fuzzy start with that first map, I thought each succeeding version of the map has moved in the right direction, seeking to respect as much as possible what the city's residents want while balancing them against federal governmental requirements. Reconciling those factors is obviously not easy. I have heard President Reed and this committee's leadership discuss a bit how the various maps address those conflicting requirements. But that is a challenge. And this might just be me, but while it's clear that the populations are pretty well balanced, and I've heard discussion of the other variables, the other metrics are more difficult to understand. It would help if a document, a spreadsheet able to be downloaded and printed by residents can be produced, which shows how each proposed ward meets or deviates from these requirements so that we can we have a snapshot that's of workable scale in front of us. Another point, I think it's wrong to say that the process has not been open. The committee has offered the city residents ongoing opportunity to provide input, and that input has resulted in ever better maps. And aside, I do think accusations of political intrigue by, among others, the Post-Dispatch editorial board have been particularly unfair. Moving on, I oppose the suggestions that so-called independent demographers should do the map. Choosing the demographer or a committee other than the one made up of the Board of Aldermen would be at least as political as the current process and would waste time. We elected the current board knowing that it would face this challenge. It is doing so in a professional manner. And I feel strongly that we need to respect our electoral institutions and hold them to do what we have elected them to do. So we need to rely on you, not create new mechanisms for reaching decisions. You're there for that purpose. So finally, just to wrap up, I trust that the members of this committee will emerge united in support of the final map proposal, and that your colleagues on the full board and in the mayor's office will respect the work you have done and will come to a final conclusion with comity. That's committee, not comedy.
5 seconds, sir.
So St. Louis can move on to confidently and competently address the many challenges we face. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nystrom. Thank you very much, sir. All right. I saw a note from the clerk. Is someone from All Seasons Towing here, Mr. Clerk? Or do we have a representative for the absent?
No, not at this point.
Okay, so maybe we will then move on to, again, thank you, Stephen. We will move on to Walter Bonner. Walter Bonner, are you with us?
Good evening, yes.
Okay, we can see you. Very good, sir. Very good. Okay. Walter, are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
Yes.
And at what 100 block do you reside?
900 block of Maple Place, the street of one of the most significant dwellings in the city of St. Louis, identified as city landmark number 51, the Hodiamont House.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, are you representing yourself or an organization, sir?
I'm representing myself, but in all honesty, I am the board member of the West End Neighbors Association, the incoming president-elect for that association.
Thank you for that information, sir. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true?
Yes.
Okay, let me start whenever you are ready, please begin, and I will start the clock.
Okay, I don't plan to take 3 minutes, but thank you. I want to thank President Reed and the committee members. You have a very arduous task in front of you. I'm just listening to the different residents. I'm learning a lot. I'm going to go out and pick up the Ford through Ferguson report that Ms. Allen referred to and read it myself. I need to catch up on that. But I really want to say that this third map is what I would like to see in the city's redistricting. And I'm primarily looking to, well, let me go back there and say this here. I looked at the state of Missouri's seal, beyond the city, but I looked at the state. It says, united we stand, divided we fail. And I come from a position that I'm not from the city of St. Louis. I wasn't born and raised here. I haven't been here 50 something years. I came here in '88 when I graduated from college. And I came back in 2012 to be with my daughters. At that time, I hated the city. When I came back, I love it. But we still have the reasons I left are still here, and we need to get rid of them. So I think the new ward redistricting that we're looking at in version 3, it goes a long way toward bridging the north-south divide that we know exists on Delmar. I understand a little bit about the history. I know that didn't happen by accident. And we talked a lot about race in this discussion about these wards, but it's time we start bridging that gap and bridging that divide. I think the Central Corridor is a great place to do it along Delmar. There's a lot of research going on there. There's a lot of communities working toward that. So I look forward to working with my neighbors and other communities on the south side of Delmar, since I'm on the north side. I think this is a great step to correct an historic mistake that St. Louis made in dividing this city the way it's divided today. I'm hoping that from the city of this city being very strong in that quarter area, we will grow out of this racial and socioeconomic divide. This city is beautiful, north and south, east and west. And we as a community need to start working together. I love my race. I love all races. But we got to get beyond that racial divide and that conquering each other and work together for the most beautiful city. And then maybe we can go out and lead the state to a better place. But let's start here in the city and show them that we can work together. Those are my comments. Again, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your efforts and your work. And I thank you for listening to what we said, because this map significantly changed when I didn't think it would. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Walter, we will now move on to the final speaker on the list, which is James Dempsey. James, are you with us? Does anyone see James? I'm looking around.
I do not.
Okay, has anyone from All Seasons Towing show
I
up?
do, Mr. Chairman, I do. James Dempsey is in the attendees list.
Okay, can we, Mr. Dempsey?
I think they have to move them over.
I
Okay,
just
all right.
promoted him, Chairman Ballmer.
All right. Is he a corporal or general or a lieutenant now? You promoted him? Okay. All right. Mr. Dempsey?
It's Dorothy Dempsey.
Oh, okay. Well, James is signed up, but look, Dorothy, you're fine.
Okay, that's me. Hi, is everybody?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we need to turn your camera on. We need to see you.
Okay, you can't see me?
No, not yet.
Let's see. Okay, here I am.
Now we have you.
Okay.
All right. The screen says James, but this is Dorothy Dempsey.
Yes.
We're going to ask you a few questions, ma'am, and then we will give you 3 minutes to state your case. Are you a resident of the city of St. Louis?
I am.
And please state the 100 block where you reside.
I reside at 4721 Kasu.
Okay. And are you representing yourself or an organization tonight?
Myself.
And do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be true?
I do.
Okay, with that, I will get my clock set, and then you may start whenever you feel comfortable.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity to speak here this evening. I really wasn't thinking about speaking, but just listening, but I think it's good that I've been able to be allowed to speak. The people that have been on this panel tonight are just outstanding. Pamela Boyd, Dean Mosley, the lady that spoke on Ferguson, I can't remember her name, but these people have made some very valid points. I can remember back with our mayor, Lyda Cruson, and I can't think of the guy's name now to save my life, but the last guy that had the yellow mask on that was saying something about President Lewis Reed. I don't know all about President Lewis Reed's character and all of that. I'm not here to take down anybody's character or what have you. But I can remember that when they were doing that Better Together thing and how they didn't come to us. They didn't come to us and ask us about doing that Better Together. I can't remember the guy that she was doing that with. It failed because they did not do the very same thing that the people are speaking about right now. They didn't come to ask us what did we think about it. They didn't have minorities around the table with them deciding about what to do, about what's better for us. You calling it Better together for who? Now, as far as the 21st Ward is concerned, I live in a over 100-year-old home. I've been in my home for over 62 years. The 21st Ward, my children are trying to get me to leave here. They are so frightened because of the gunshots and all of the things that are going on. I love this city. I love where I live. We have put our heart and souls into this home. The 21st Ward, we want the 21st Ward to stay here. People are listen, I don't want people to be fooled. People are calling us every day asking us, do you want to sell your home? So you're doing all this redistricting with the maps and all of this stuff. The NGA map, the NGA is coming in. People, please don't be fooled. When we all move out, then they all gonna move in. So when we doing all this redistricting.
We have 10 seconds, ma'am.
Okay, when you do all this redistricting, I just want people to be aware that we want aldermen in here. We have a good alderman in the 21st Ward. We want to be able to vote. And when you're doing these maps, we need aldermen and we need people that we can vote. And the one question I want to ask is who's the alderman that's going to be the alderman as far as the NGA?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay. With that, if no one here from the All Seasons Towing, I believe we've gone through the speaker list. And with that, we will now move through the committee. And if there's certain points that were brought up as we go through this, as far as the process, and maybe I'll try and go through some of the generalities very, very quick. The numbers we use, the things we get are from the United States Census. It's the same thing that everyone across the country. We are required to do this by law every 10 years. When they do the census, every district, ward, when from the federal down to the cities, and we have to redistrict to get a degree of the population. As far as the way they count, unfortunately, I guess for many people, yes, it is the minority and majority of the population, which technically breaks down to black and white. The Hispanics are considered an ethnicity. We do have, I believe, a new product I can say, or thing showing the Hispanic population of the city of St. Louis. Is that not correct, Mr. President? Yeah. We'll be releasing that, where they can be found and how they're represented on that. But we are going by the federal guidelines, which is our requirement. By law, we have to do this. Typically, we would have the numbers in April, as we've stated before. Because of the pandemic, we did not receive the ward numbers and the things we needed till September. That's when we started these meetings as soon as we could, and we've been trying to engage the public. For those saying we're not, we do have a portal that has been being used, and I believe we're almost up to 300 people chiming in on the portal. And I can tell you this honestly, when going through this map, the portal has created almost 5 to 6 physical changes in the map that apparently some of the people talking about tonight have approved of. So we are very, very engaged as much as we can with our own constituents, each of us, through the portal, through these public hearings. And yes, having gone through this before, never before in the history has any previous redistricting had more than one map shown, and that map was always the final map. This is our 3rd version. And we will have, I believe tomorrow, hopefully a 4th version going through all this that we're taking in, and finally, hopefully very soon to get to the final version. So I appreciate everyone's comments tonight. We are going to, I saw Mr. Shepherd, is your hand up? Louis, your Tom Shepherd, is he with us? I saw a hand up before. Tom, I had a comment if I misspoke on something technically.
No, I saw his hand up.
No, that was an accident, Chairman.
Accident? Okay.
If it was.
Okay. All right. Okay. With that, we're going to, and if there's, and I know we had a lot of people from the 21st Ward. Those people, again, this process, unfortunately, at the end of this, when we get done in 2023, there will only be 14 wards. So the number 21 will not be available any longer. I'm sorry about the t-shirts. We can't do anything, because we'll have Ward 1 through 14. We don't, we won't have any numbers going past number 14. As far as where it's going to be, but this process does not go into effect until after the 2023 spring election cycle. So the 21st Ward is in effect till 2023. And at that point, that's when the 1 through 14 will be the ward numbers. So at that point, we're going to go through the committee. And if there are any specific questions you've heard or answer, I try to just do an overview. And hopefully we're all taking notes. And as we're going through this, at one real quick thing about the Kings Oak, I believe Mr. Michael Browning brought that up. It is a very small area, and I will look into that, but we're trying to avoid that little finger, when we go through this and the maps have to be drawn. Compactness is one of the most important features they look for maps not to be stretching to catch something. Trying to keep neighborhoods whole has been our goal, but being compact where the ward could be physically as small as possible with the proper amount of population that meets all the requirements. So we will look into your requests, sir, about doing that. But it is when we do things, we have to keep compact as possible. So that will be something we will go through. With that, I will open up to comments or questions. And Alderman Bard, are you with us? I don't see Jeffrey there. Alderman Davis, are there any things you'd like to address?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything specifically. I just wanted to say it is amazing to see residents still in Penrose neighborhood that I worked with years ago in organizing the neighborhood housing service program. So that lets you know that we have long-term committed residents in the city of St. Louis. And we have to really say thank you to them for not leaving this city. And we did have a comment in the chat. I think that might be the trucking company who said they couldn't get on.
Okay.
But they put a message in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. You're more technical than I am, so I appreciate you taking care of that, madam. All right. Alderman McCarl, questions or comments to any of the speakers this evening?
I do. One comment, I see that I'm not the only one that loves John Muhammad. John's my buddy. And so
that's the bromance of the war.
That is the bromance. John's a good guy, and I understand people not wanting to lose him. But I did want to address something very quickly about Louis Reed, who I am a massive supporter of, that supposedly drew a map taking care of his friends. My ward got split into two. If I choose to run, I would have to run in a ward now that was part of 16, part of 23, part of 24, and part of 17. Thank you for keeping my ward together and being such a great friend that you gerrymandered my ward so that I'm just in the best shape. You know, it's a fair map. And everybody keeps saying, well, this reminds me again of that show where they want to put this person against that person. You don't even know who's going to be running or not running. I haven't made that final decision. I'm thinking I'm going to run, but I don't know. But certainly, if you thought this was doing me a favor by cutting my ward in half, throwing me into the 24th ward, was basically kept whole, giving me part of 16 and a part of 17, maybe you need to rethink the map. So I will go back and say, put the whole 23rd ward back together. You know, so, you know, I just found that very offensive. You know, as a supporter, and I am a supporter. I also endorsed the mayor. You know, Tashara, you know, I endorsed Lewis during the primary and then the mayor. You know, there is no gerrymandering in this. Anybody that says there is again, look at where I'm at. So, you know, I just wanted to address that. I just keep finding that very offensive that, you know, we get accused of things. And again, this map was drawn in a way that has to be drawn, so it's not optional. So anyway, that's my whole spiel. So,
all right. Thank you very much, Alderman. All right, we'll move to Alderman Coder. Are you still with us? And no answer. We'll go to Alderwoman Boyd. Are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am. And I am honored to be here to listen to the residents. And it does my heart good for them to be heard by us as the elected officials. I really don't think, in defense of a lot of residents in our city, that they understand how the process works. And so it's not where it used to be, like a young lady said, the back room and drawing the maps. And so it's not, and it's stressful because we have to try to put wards together with numbers. And so the census is the numbers that we are driven by. And that has been our biggest challenge. You know, I'm sorry if people think it's backdoor deals and people are benefiting from whoever. But as Joe Fakori said, he's supposed to be Louis Reed's good friend, and he's been cut up by 4 wards. So if that's how Louis Reed treat his friend, I want to stay his enemy. I don't be my friend. Leave me alone. I don't want to be there. So I want to thank those residents that were vocal and made their point across, because it was real breathtaking to hear residents from North Quarter, because you all are always accused that you don't speak your mind. And so you proved a point. You diligent, you stay in that area. You didn't fly off to North County somewhere. You stayed right in that North Quarter, and you came on this call and said, we want our community to stay together. So I applaud you because you did speak and you were heard. So thank you very much. And I was honored to be a part of this, to hear this whole process today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. And very quickly, I took I believe it was Pastor Cole, is that the definition of testimony while we're doing this is any formal written or spoken statement as to why we were asking him this, where and I know most people think testimony is, well, I'll show my age, Perry Mason, you know, you're watching, because I don't watch too much new TV. So I work nights most of the time. I took off for this evening to make sure we could get this done, but the definition of testimony is any formal, written, or spoken statement. So that is why we require you two to swear as the truth and when we're doing this. So one other thing to take care of. So Alderman Muhammad, who it was your love fest this evening, sir. So please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I tell you, I was born in 1991 and I just Googled Perry Mason and a black and white picture came up. We'll have that conversation later. But I want to thank the residents of Penrose, Miss April, Miss Yolanda, and Miss Barbara, and Miss Dempsey for speaking their minds and believing in our community as we fight to revitalize, rebuild, and strengthen this neglected part of North St. Louis. The work is not done and the work will continue. And I am optimistic that we will create a map that will reflect the wants and the desires of our communities in general. And to the young gentleman that spoke about the alleged bias of President Reed, I have been called a puppet by progressives, a puppet by the Post-Dispatch of the president. And yet I am put into a ward with a senior alderwoman, the former president of the school board, or former committee woman, and she has ran more non-for-profits than you can think of. I don't see how that's doing me any favors. I just want to make sure that that is clear. But Mr. President, I do want to thank you for your leadership, because a lot of the things that we are doing with this committee, technically we don't have to. And I'm not saying we should pat ourselves on the back for showing transparency, but we should definitely recognize the work that we are doing and recognize the fact that we are reaching out as much as we can to residents, to community groups, to community associations. As I just had you in my ward this past week, speaking to roughly 70 residents about this redistricting process. And thank you for your time. I know I kept you longer than I was supposed to, but thank you. But I do want residents to know that we are doing what we can to listen to all of your concerns and make sure that we create a equitable map that reflects the demographics of our city. And again, thank you so much to those Penrose residents who are holding strong and who believe in what we're doing to rebuild our community. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'm guessing that you will take care of most of the specific questions your residents came up with this evening.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I just shot an email with all the questions to you. You're going to answer. I'm kidding. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, sir. Thank you, John. All right, Alderman Oldenburg, are you with us still? I saw your on there earlier. No answer. Okay. Alderwoman Martin.
No, no comments. Just want to thank everyone who took the time to give their input. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Alderwoman Navarro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank everyone who took the time to testify tonight and everyone who is sharing their comments online. Please keep sending them in. And again, I appreciate the comments too about bridging Delmar. And I do think that this process has been responsive to many of the comments we've gotten so far. And that's one of those areas that I think we've been able to address that. So thank you again to everybody. And I have no further comments.
All right. Thank you, Alderwoman. And Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the public for coming out and voicing their opinions. And I'm just really proud of North St. Louis for coming out and standing together. So thank you. I have nothing else.
All right. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, whether you know someone stole a chair from your office, it looked like I was watching the video. I just wanted to alert you to that in case you weren't aware.
No. That's my daughter. My children, bless their heart, they can't help themselves. They didn't meet violence. They're so used to it. I said, I'm going to my comment. She said, I got to get out of here then because I'm not going to be able to be quiet. But I just wanted to just echo and thank the speakers that came out tonight and just continue to say, just say thank you, like my colleague said, and know that we are listening. I hate that some people still feel like we're not listening because
I know that we are. And Miss Allen, who I have so much respect for, she knows that I was excited when I even saw her name on the speaker list. Thank you for always giving your input. And to the young brother, Dion Mosley, please stay engaged. Ask all your questions. Show up to the meetings. What happens is, even when we try, there's going to be a faction of people that we just can't get to, but you could. So you could take the information here, take it back to your groups. There's a sister named Kelly McGowan with Evolve. She sits on these meetings, not just these meetings, but all our committee meetings, and she carries the information back to the community. And that's so helpful because for so many reasons, some people just cannot get on these meetings with us. So please stay engaged and you can get my information up on all kind of social media and everything. And I would love to connect you with some things and answer some questions for you as well. I say this in every meeting, and that's because people make the comments. I have to continue to ask people not to be distracted by who the other person is now, because in 2023, we don't know who's going to run, who's not going to run, and who new people coming in. And I just don't want to discourage new people from wanting to join and get engaged in this process. Whoever, you can't accuse one group of doing something, but then offer for another group to do something, because that's when everybody has an agenda. So now it becomes, if you accuse this group of it being their agenda, you take it away and put it in another group, whatever that group may be, then that's their agenda. And all agendas are not bad agendas. Some of us have an agenda to serve and move our city together collectively. So I want to bring up a point that I don't think anybody's talking about, because God forbid it happens. But if this process doesn't go through and this map goes to court and a judge draws this map, what the judge is not going to do is go back and listen to this meeting. The judge is not going to listen to our phone calls, our emails, our texts from our constituents that we continue to relay. None of that. So this process moving forward, I think we should just try to work collectively to get it done, so that it's for the betterment of all of our, if you want to lack of a better word, agenda, all of our agenda, which for me, I pray that it is to move our city forward. We get 14 good aldermen in there in 2023, not now, in 2023, that's going to work together. So thank you for letting me speak, Chairman Valmer. And like all my colleagues said, we're all still here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And we'll go to President Reed. Mr. President, please proceed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee for all your hard work, members of the board for all your hard work, but most importantly, members of the community who led us to the map that you see now, this third version, and the fourth version that the chairman will talk about shortly. I just want to really encourage people to use any method that you have, through phone calls. You can go to our portal, you can send us emails, you can leave us voice messages, and whatever means you have available to just get us the information. Hopefully by now people can see clearly that this map is being drawn by the people, by the community at large, with the information that we're taking in. And that's why you see the current version that has been adopted so widely across the city, is because it represents the ideas that we've taken from the community and put into the map. There isn't one person I know I've heard again tonight, who is that one person drawing the map? Well, there isn't one person drawing the map. The map is being reflected in all of the information that we're taking in from all the various different sources. And I think it will lead to a good map that's going to service the city really well. I've also heard tonight, again, about the importance of looking at the Forward Through Ferguson report. And there was a question, had we read it? I know I've read it several times, and I know a number of the committee members have all read it. And it is reflected in the map. If you look at how we've drawn those districts between north and south across that central corridor, part of what happened, part of the reasoning behind that is because when you talk to people who invest in new businesses, who are developing properties, who are deciding, where to live and all that stuff, a lot of times they'll say, well, I'm on this side of the city because, or I'm investing in this side of the city because that's what I know, and these are the people I know, and I have relationships here, right? But by extending those lines across Del Mar, now we have a map that will lead to the building of those relationships and extend those investments in the areas that we haven't seen before, right? It will also address some of the policies that we have to address in the future by having a map that you have now 7 minority preference wards and 7 non-minority preference wards. The hope is in the future, you're going to see a more blended legislative branch of government that brings in many different ideas from different perspectives based on people's upbringing and their cultures and everything that they have embodied, right? That they will represent before that body. So that information was taken in, and I just want everybody to know it is guiding a lot of what we're doing. If you really look into the map, you'll see that part of what we hopefully can do, but we have a lot on our table, is to take pieces of the Fort through Ferguson report and draw those comparisons so you can see how it has led to some of the things that is being laid out within the map. I also heard someone asked about us using ARPA funds to be able to do community meetings and things of that nature. It'd be great if those funds would move that quickly. They just aren't. Like some of the things that we put in the first bill for the ARPA funds, we still haven't seen that money hit the streets yet. So the timing still wouldn't have helped with the timing. Someone also asked about taking some of the minority preference wards and essentially watering them down and putting differing populations in them so that those wards would have more of a blended population. That would be one of those things that could indeed land us in court if we've intentionally watered down an area that would have been, a good ward where people of a minority group could have elected a person of their choice. But we went an extra step to essentially crack that population that could lead us into court for gerrymandering. So that's why you see we have not done that. We've let the numbers guide us and those population trends guide us to where we're at. Also someone talked about how schools will be affected and how the police department and policing will be affected. Part of what we need to do is to redraw those policing districts across the city. And I think that, the board still has an appetite to push that. We introduced a bill before to force that to happen because we need smaller districts opposed to larger districts. Once this map is codified, that would be a good springboard for it. I think that would be a really good springboard for it so that those policing districts could be drawn to encompass the entirety of certain wards or multiple wards or whatever, so that we would have good, even representation all across the city. So I think that that's a good thing for the board to keep in mind downstream. The school district and school system is a whole separate system. But part of what we can do through this redistricting, and if you look at the way some of these districts are set up, in areas, there are some certain areas across the city where we've seen a lot of school closings, right? But now when we see the districts being drawn in this north to south fashion, crossing that Del Mar divide, we are able to break up that workload somewhat and to have.
Oh, you're frozen, sir. Hello. Well, President's frozen. I'll project a few things till we can thaw him out.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. You were frozen there, Louis, for a moment, sir.
Oh, one of those things that can help us is to see more people move back in, right? And hopefully we'll see that in the future also. And then there was one other thing. And finally, you know, I've heard this from still just a handful of people, not many, about this idea that we're helping our friends. When you look at this map, it's anything but that. You look at this map, and I really invite people to do this. Look at the map and look at people who have where they're positioned on the map, and see if you can draw a correlation between who's somebody's friend or not, because it just does not exist. I'm telling you, it just does not exist. And I think it's very quick and easy to see that most of the people who are sitting in districts that are non-contested in this map are people that have not been supporters of me in any election. But guess what? That does not matter at all whatsoever. We are cutting these wards in half. And we are working to build a map that's going to serve the city of St. Louis for the next 10 years and to set us on a different path. And if people can't see past politics to do that, then they're in the wrong business. And you know, and I understand that some people, that's just their belief. They will never be able to see beyond that. But I think it's important to just invite them to take a look at the map, take a look at it, and then look at past elections so that they personally can move past that and really weigh in and help. And I want to thank all the residents and everybody, including everybody that came on the night, no matter what your testimony was, is stuff that we will evaluate and work to try to implement in the things that we're doing. So I thank you for that. Please, please stay engaged. We need to hear from you. You will help us draw a map that's going to change and transform our city. So I thank each and every one of you all.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Yes, to address the, yes, I am chairman of the committee. I'm one of 4 aldermen who currently have no other alderman drawn into the area. Trying to draw someone into the area would definitely be gerrymandering. We actually attempted it to make it look as this was not self-serving. You know, the cry and what this map started with was neighborhoods. Everyone, again, I've stated before, when I was, you know, people found out I was chairing this committee, everything is neighborhoods, keep my neighborhood whole, keep my neighborhood whole. I believe this current version has a little over 80% of the neighborhoods whole. We're using the neighborhood boundaries, which the census people don't care about neighborhoods. You know, as you stated before, a judge will not care about your neighborhood. He'll put it wherever he wants to put it. But we are doing this, that's our starting block. How many neighborhoods can we keep whole and represented by a single alderman? And the other 20% or less than that, whatever it is, are only represented by 2 aldermen, as opposed to the days when there was 3 or 4 aldermen representing a certain neighborhood. You go to a meeting and you don't know who to talk to. So, you know, unfortunately, I live in an area where I think I was talking to an alderman because and who is drawing the map? You basically are through your alder people, because we've been trying to reach out to every alderman. We go through, get their input. They're gathering from you. The portal has been very, very important part of this. And for you folks who are here tonight, it's, I believe someone asked about Tower Grove East, because on the current version is in half. I think I'll be very happy tomorrow when the 4th version comes out, because I think we found a solution to that. We take your input and we take it seriously and we put it to use. You know, we're trying to use neighborhood boundaries, major thoroughfares. it's not about neighborhoods, it's also about neighbors. And Alderman knows what part of the community these people feel part of. When you're 18 and a half years of this, living in the same neighborhood for the last 62 years, owning a business for the last 33, I have a pretty good feel for, what goes, what people around me feel and what they feel part of. And that's what our job is. We are elected for a reason. And many people think that, we're just elected and we're, feeding at the, at the cost. This is something I believe we all take it. Any of you take it half as serious as I take it, which I know most all you take it just as serious as I do. This is my life. This city is, everything to get it back to where it can be. And it's on the cusp of doing that. And I believe this map is going to help that, asking who the alderman is going to be and where NGE is. Well, we don't know. We don't know who's going to be the alderman. I'll be 63 years old next year and have a business. My wife and I will make a decision whether I run or not. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people running, not only in this area, but in every area. When you see this, we're not trying to make matchups, as people say. You have 81,000 people or so living north of Delmar. You have 9 sitting aldermen living in that area when you barely have enough citizens for 4 wards that we're trying. That's why it's coming down. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? We don't know. We're trying to set it up to make it succeed. So to all you naysayers, I love to hear from you. We all do. I want to hear what everyone wants to say about this. I get to hear it, through the emails, through phone calls, the portal, these meetings, very much so in my place of business. It's a nonstop conversation. So please continue to do so. We are in a time frame. We do have to go by rules because we are a legislative body. We just can't make things up. We have federal laws we have to abide by. We have our own rules and we have a timeline. And we are doing this by every means possible. As I said before, what we are doing has never, ever taken place during a redistricting process in the city of St. Louis. This is the most engaged that has ever occurred. So please take advantage of that. We are in a timeline and it's still going to, when it hopefully comes out of the committee, we are going to take it, to the floor and we'll have some more debate. And hopefully if there's anything we can tweak, we will tweak, but we're trying to draw the best map that will not be thrown out of anywhere at any time, that will make any other process look unnecessary, because we're all seeing that the map is bigger than all of us. And that's our true belief. And I hope you can believe us. This is very time consuming, but I believe every moment of it is worth everything in the world to all of our citizens. So with that, we will be having another hearing tomorrow at 4. We will be releasing a 4th version of the map. It's almost ready to go. I think we've got a tweak or two we're in. And again, this is being drawn with citizen input, alderman input, everyone's input that we can gather. So at that, I believe, unless President, you have anything to say, maybe I misspoke, is
No, I think we're good.
All right, sir.
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay. We'll do the 4th version tomorrow and at 4 o'clock. And we do have a meeting scheduled, I believe, for 3 o'clock on Wednesday, if necessary. And then we do have a meeting scheduled 11 a.m. Thursday. I know all you committee members love me for doing this to you, but that's just the way it is. Again, so I appreciate all your time and input. And with that, I'll entertain, we'll excuse any alderman here for necessary absence. Entertain a moment.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All
All right. Thank you all very much. See you tomorrow.
right. See you guys.